Hola, buenos días. Me llamo Stephen French de StephenFrenchLanguages.com. If you haven't understood that, my name's Stephen French from StephenFrenchLanguages.com, and you're in the right place if you want to learn Spanish. Absolutely in the right place. And today, the purpose of today's video is for me to teach you the verb vivir. Vivir means to live, and I'm going to be teaching that verb in the present tense. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down vivir into its 6 constituent parts. Make sure I've got enough fingers there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 fingers, 6 constituent parts. Without further ado, let's get going. So vivir is a regular IR verb in Spanish. And what does that mean? Well, what it means is vivir has got an IR on the end, and what we do is we knock off the IR, and then what we do is we get the stem. So the stem in this particular case is VIV, and I'm going to repeat that all the way down for all 6 of the separate parts of vivir in the present tense. So hopefully you've understood that. Just to run through that again, I've taken the verb vivir, which means to live, I've knocked off the IR, and now I've got what we call the stem. Now the stem is very important for regular verbs in Spanish, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add separate endings onto each of those parts, those stems, and that will mean that a Spanish speaker can differentiate between I live and you live, and he lives and we live and you live and they live. So let's just walk you through that. So, I live is vivo. I've added an O on the end of the stem, vivo. Now, what I'd like you to do, might sound a little bit silly, but I want you to repeat what I've just said, vivo. Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Could you say that again a bit louder? Vivo. Excellent. So we've got vivo, and that means I live. Repetido otra vez, vivo. Okay, so that means I live. Now I'm going to add the second person, which is you live. So that's you live, and you live is what we call the tu form. In other words, it's the familiar form. So now we've got vivo, vives. Can you repeat that after me? Vivo, vives. Fantastic. Now we're going on to the third person. So this is either he lives, she lives, or you polite live. The usted form. So in Spanish that is vive. Vive. So you can see we've got vivo, vives, vive, and that means the last one there means he or she or, and I'm writing in the Spanish word you, or the Spanish word usted, which is the polite form of you, and that would mean lives, or obviously in English you live if we're going with the usted form. So why don't you repeat the singular for me? We'll go vivo, vives, vive. Fantastic. So that's the singular, vivo, vives, vive. Now we're going to do the plural. We've still got our 10 stem, but this time I've added imos, vivimos, and that means we live. And I'm now going to do the you live form, which is vivis, vivis. So that means you live, but this time it's the plural form. In English we don't have separate out singulars and plurals with the you, but in Spanish you've actually got 4 words for you. Let's not get too complicated, but this one here is you live, and it's what we call, it is the vosotros form, you live. And last but not least, we've got the then. which means they live. Or you polite, and I'll write that on the screen here or on the board here, you, ustedes, live, which means you live. So let's just repeat that all the way through. Vivo, vives, vive, vivimos, vivís, viven. And perhaps I'd like to point out one or two things here which are important when you watch one or two of the other videos as well on the formation of these verbs in the present tense in Spanish, is that the I from the infinitive comes down into the vivimos and the vivís. So note that I has come into here and into here. So there we have it. That's the verb vivir in the present tense in Spanish, separated out. So let's just run over and recap exactly what we've done. We've taken the infinitive, vivir. Then what we've done is we've knocked off the IR, and if you recall at the beginning of the video we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stems, VIV. Then what I did is I built up the verb and I went vivo, vives, vive, vivimos, vivís, viven. Now perhaps for us English speakers that can sound a little bit complicated, because in English the corresponding verb has only got one change. I live, you live, he lives, we live, you live, they live. So in English, the thing that is differentiating between the various parts of the verb is whether you say I, or you, or he, or she. What tends to happen in Spanish, what happens most of the time in Spanish, is you're using different endings. So, just to wrap up, I'd like to say, for you to say this after me, vivo, vives, vive, off you go. I'm sure you said it. Vivimos, vivís, viven. Off you go. So, there we have it. My name's Stephen French from stephenfrenchlanguages.com. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel, and if you hit the bell icon, you'll receive notification of all the videos that I'll be bringing out in the future. Bueno, hasta pronto, amigos míos. Hope you found that useful. Hasta pronto.